These are days of celebration. We've just had a few weeks of fun watching the World Cup soccer in Qatar. This weekend is Christmas and then we have the New Year. The malls are bustling. There's chaos at the Delhi airport as travelers are thronging the airport despite airfares going through the roof. New movies are raking in money by the billion and resorts are full. A trail of non-stop nationwide celebrations. That is if you do not see the other larger India of the homeless huddling under flyovers, of beggars at traffic junctions, and most of all, the trains full of jobless in India. Why am I using the trains full of jobless expression? Because there was this incident reported this week which is connected to trains and which exemplifies the absolute desperation of India's jobless millions. If you haven't heard, some 28 people from Tamil Nadu were deployed on different platforms of the New Delhi railway station every day for 8 hours for a month to count the arrival and departure of trains and their coaches. They didn't realize it was a job scam. They had paid between 200,000 and 2.4 million rupees to get railway jobs, and they were made to believe that this was part of their training. The scamsters reportedly duped them of some 27 million rupees. Most of the victims were graduates in engineering or technical education. Now, what that says about their education is a different matter. Imagine engineering graduates believing that they can pay money and get railway jobs, and that counting trains for a month sitting on a platform is part of job training. What kind of common sense did we inculcate in them through their 17-18 years of education? For more understanding of India's jobs crisis, recollect the incident from Uttar Pradesh last month. Some 3.75 million candidates had registered for the Uttar Pradesh Subordinate Service Selection Examination. On the day of the examination, when these candidates had to commute to some 1,899 centers, there was absolute chaos. And the local media reported 4 deaths.
परीक्षार्थी हैं जो इस ट्रेन पर सवार होने के लिए आप देख सकते हैं हजारों हजार की संख्या में.
The jobs crunch has been with us for a while. In 2019, 24 million candidates applied for 120,000 railway jobs. And this year in September, 11 million candidates wanted to be gangmen in the railways, of whom 650,000 were engineering graduates. Things aren't getting any better. This week, the Center for Monitoring of Indian Economy, CMI data showed that India's unemployment rate had hit 9.31% on December 17th, the highest in 18 months. For better context to India's jobs crisis, it would be good to compare India's labor force participation rate with those of other nations. Now, the labor force participation rate is the section of working population in the 16 to 64 age group in the economy who are currently employed or seeking employment. This is how India compares, or rather poorly compares, with other nations on labor force participation rate. I'm using World Bank data here for 2021, updated till June 2022, which says India's labor force participation rate is around 46%. Now, the CMI data says it is actually closer to 40%. For fun's sake, let's start comparing India's labor force participation with those of 3 popular teams at the Soccer World Cup: Argentina, Brazil, and France. Argentina has 60%, Brazil has 58%, and France has 56%, all well above India's 46%. The US has 61%, and the world average is 59%. We are actually close to Afghanistan, which has 41%. And we are no comparison to Qatar, the host of the World Cup, which has 87% labor force participation. These are, of course, heartbreaking statistics for India's youth. Former Reserve Bank of India Governor Raghuram Rajan said recently, "Jobs are essentially task 1 for the economy. We don't need everyone to be a software programmer or a consultant, but we need decent jobs." India is adding 1 million youth every month to the working age pool, and a large section of them face the threat of being labelled the nowhere generation. What is the possibility of India's millions of jobless youth getting government jobs? Not even 1%. Union Minister of State for Personnel Jitendra Singh informed Lok Sabha in July this year that only 722,311 candidates got government jobs out of 220 million candidates who applied since 2014, meaning 0.3% of candidates got government jobs. In other words, out of 1,000 candidates who appeared for government jobs, only 3 got or 997 did not get them. Despite the grim job prospects, we remain a tuition republic, where millions attend coaching classes, which teach our youth how to crack examinations, which gets them into higher education institutions, which have outdated syllabi, and then they all emerge to join the jobs queue. So we end up with skills like this reported by India Today this week. 2 squat toilets side by side in a public washroom in Uttar Pradesh. The most painful irony is that India will soon be the most populated country in the world. And yet, our employers cannot find enough skilled hands who will fit their requirement. So much so that Indian IT companies are now outsourcing to countries like Brazil and Indonesia. The solutions are known to everyone. We need much better education and skilling. Easier said than done. So the crowds you see at the Delhi airport, the malls and the resorts are the smaller India cribbing about their inconveniences. The larger India is neither thinking of catching a flight nor going on a vacation. This is no festive season for them. And 2023 will bring 13 million more into India's working age population. Pray that in the new year, we don't see any of them sitting on a railway platform counting trains. This episode of Geometric View salutes Girija Harikumar, a teacher at a vocational higher secondary school in Kerala's Palakkad district. The mother of one of her students, a 46-year-old widow who has 3 children, one of them bedridden, asked the teacher for 500 rupees because the family was facing grinding poverty. The teacher not only gave her 1,000 rupees, but posted the story of the plight of the family on social media. Kind-hearted people then stepped in and in a few days donated a total of 5.1 million rupees. Here is a teacher who went well beyond the bounds of a syllabus and also revealed the bounty of kindness that surrounds us. May her tribe increase.